Alzheimer's.
You know, that's one of the benefits. We went to visit my mother's mother shortly before she passed away. And, you know, I had this before you before the conversation. This children and one another. That rest
Call to order. Invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious God over all things and people, we thank you for this opportunity to serve our community. May you guide the discussions with wisdom and grace that you share with us. And may the conversations be calm and civil. And God, we pray for those who have been hurt by the violence of the guns in the schools. And God, we just pray for the people, for the safety of the kids in our community and throughout our country. We just pray, God, that you will stretch out your hand over our nation and bring peace, we pray. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
approval of the minutes for February 7th, 2018.
I move to approve the minutes of February 7th, 2018 meeting.
So moved by Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second.
Christie is second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Financial matters, appropriation ordinance number 3.
I had a question on one, but I don't have it up here in front of me right now. It was the one for APEC, the 135,000 or something like that. What was that? That was for the treatment plant? Okay. And that was, what was that?
Construction, the remodel out there.
Okay, okay. I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 3.
We have a motion by Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Christie seconds. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion pass. Public comments. We are now open for public comments. There is none. We'll close public comments. New business. Cloud County Tourist Year-End Report.
I'm happy to say I'm before the noise ordinance. I just thought that was funny. My name is Susie Haver. Marion Condre is also an employee of Cloud County Convention and Tourism. I'm also happy to introduce Miranda Fry, Holiday Inn Express back here. Roberta Lowry, representing the National Orphan Train Museum, and Florence Gerard, representing the Cloud County Historical Society Museum. Those three are 3 of the 10 who are on the board appointed by the Cloud County Commissioners. It occurred to me that we had not, we always go to the Cloud County Commissioners, but we hadn't come to City Commission. And with the new commissioners, and note that you now have, Mark, a mug that says Concordia, the orphan train town, and the other 3 also have one, but I think they have them at home where they're safe. But Stacy is using hers.
Mine's at the office.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. You're off the hook, Chuck.
So when you said mark and mug, you weren't talking about my face, right?
No, I was not.
Okay, thank you.
Not that she'll acknowledge in a public setting.
Yes, we want to keep this all above board. The Cloud County Convention and Tourism staff is funded by transient guest tax, a 5% transient guest tax that is collected county-wide and sent to the Kansas Department of Revenue. Quarterly, it is dispersed to the county, and we voucher our bills through the county. That's how we're funded entirely. I work full-time, Marion works part-time, and Jory Galise, who also works for the Chamber of Commerce, is our communications person. She's the one who does the social media stuff along with Marion. I thought I would go over just a few things because you received is that right, Stacy? They received the handout. And I'll make sure you guys get one too. Yes, yeah, they put it all in. We have a gift shop in the tourism office. We are located at 130 East 6th Street, which is in the Cloud County Museum Annex. The whole wall mural is on the outside of our building, and it's a huge draw. We rent space from the Cloud County Historical Society Museum, and we're happy to be there. They've done a lot of work on the building since we're in there. We have more restrooms than you do, which is a plus when you got a bus coming in. We offer sales. We have a little gift shop there. It features items from the attractions and also some commissioned items that are Kansas products and also some items that we have purchased. We sell those items and give all the money for the attractions back to the attractions so that they can generate income as well. We pay sales tax on those. We pay quarterly on those purchases, on those sales. And in 2017, we sold almost $14,000 worth of merchandise, which I think is pretty darn good.
Very good.
And that was up, the statistics are there. That was up almost $4,000 from the year before. So people are catching on. We, of course, promote group tours coming to Concordia and Cloud County. Last year, we had 30 group tours. This might be a motor coach. It might be a smaller group coming in. They represented 569 visitors. Most come for the day and then don't spend the night, but occasionally we get some who spend the night. Miranda really likes that when that happens. And, of course, that's our big goal, is to get heads in beds. We were down a little from the year before for group tours, big group tours. By the way, the city lets us park a motor coach in front of the Cloud County Museum Annex without fear of a ticket, which we're grateful for that. We have green cones that we put out. It's a temporary parking, but it works out just fine for those buses. What we have started keeping track of in the last 2 years are the number of small tours that come in. Somebody who comes into our building and says, oh, we're here to see the National Orphan Train Museum. What else is there to see? So we started tracking those and found out that there were 122 of those kinds of tours where somebody came in and asked about something and we got them an appointment to go to the Mother House or go out to POW or whatever they wanted to know, where to go to eat if they were spending the night. So we started keeping track of that and discovered that those are the visitors who might have come in a group tour, and we keep them on schedule. That's why we use that whistle, purchased at Tom's Music House. Now we sell them in our gift shop, but we purchase them from Tom's Music House. Paul. And it gets the attention. Anyway, some of those group tours come and they don't have enough time in all the places that they stop. So they come back with another, if they can still drive. They come back and they bring another couple with them and they spend the night and they spend more money And those added up to 122 of those tours, 381 visitors, and we know for a fact that 104 of them stayed overnight, that those are 104 overnight stays. We have this really fancy system of a lined notepad on a clipboard that we write all that down, but it works. Then we are also a travel information center for the state, one of 22 community travel information centers. That doesn't mean any money comes from the state for us, but it does give us some clout that we're listed as one of those 22 community travel information centers. We have a lot of brochures. You are required to be open 6 days a week, and you need to have nice, clean restrooms. You need to provide hospitality with water and coffee, and we do. And the whole wall mural is such a huge draw to get them in that it's a perfect location. We then keep track of all those people who come in. Again, we have this really fabulous clipboard that has that lined paper on it, different one than the other. And we write down if they're from Kansas, if they're out of state, or if they're international. And so at the end of the month, we add those all up. And so last year, there were 4,784 people who came through the doors. 3,687 were from Kansas, 1,068 from the U.S., 29 were international. We know that for a fact because we can't make everybody sign the guest book. They just don't. So, and that was up about 200 from the year before. We do lots of promotion booths at the State House, at the Kansas Sampler Festival, all kinds of shows across the state, some out of state. We went to Des Moines, to the Meredith Corporation to talk to editors of all the publications that Meredith publishes, which they have 22. Gave us a chance to visit with editors, hoping that they might write a story about us. We also went to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, and talked to tour operators from Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri in hopes that they would come through. And we do that every year. This year, we'll be going to Des Moines for that. So wherever we can go to have a booth to promote Cloud County, we do it. We go to just like you, we go to any number of meetings, conferences, events. We market Cloud County as a destination. We've had print ads and editorials in 25 regional and national publications. We have 2 billboards on I-70. These are for the National Orphan Trade Museum because that's the main reason people come to Concordia and Cloud County. 2 billboards on US 36, one near Washington, one near Mankato. Those are new. And, of course, the really big one on the viaduct as you come in from the north. We have all kinds of items that we loan out, a screen, a PA, tables, chairs, tablecloths, green vests, orange fencing. Ron knows about that one. And we loan those are for free. We loan them out as long as they bring them back. And 14 businesses and organizations borrowed those for a variety of things. We also have small grants, and we granted 16 grants. Some were event grants, most of them were, and some were for marketing and attraction development. It is a wonderful job. We are very happy to promote Cloud County. Concordia is, of course, the biggest place, and we are very fortunate that we have a lot of attractions. We work really well, I think, with the attractions to help promote and to make sure when people come to Concordia and Cloud County and North Central Kansas and Kansas, that they leave really glad they stopped. And I think we can guarantee that that is the case. One of the things we do differently from a lot of convention and visitors bureaus, which the term is CVB, is that when a tour group comes in, we go with them, which gives us a chance to get to know them and solve any issues that might come up that might cause any less than stellar experience. How's that for reframing that? And that isn't always the case at convention and visitors bureaus, but it's what we do and it's what we think is important. This year, we are starting a new project, and Marion's going to come up and tell it. It's called 10 for 10, and Stacy took part in it last Friday. So, Marion, you have 10 seconds. No.
10 for 10 and 10.
Well, I didn't know I was going to have a microphone, but we're starting a new program. It's called 10 for 10. There's 10 people. It costs $10. One of the attractions you will know about when you sign up, and the other part of it is like a mystery tour. The reasoning behind that was that a lot of people that live here in Concordia and in Cloud County have never been to the National Orphan Train Complex, POW camp. They've never been to the Mother House. And so, as a personal experience, before I started working at the Cloud County Tourism Office, I had never been to the Orphan Train. I want the people of Concordia to be able to experience that, and because it's our town and we are the Orphan Train town, we need to give them the same type of treatment that we would give to a bus. If there were 25 or 50, we want them to experience that on a level of 10 people only. So last Friday we had our first tour. We had it all planned. Everything was going really smoothly. We had people signed up, and then one of the attractions had a situation where we could not go there. So we went to Plan B, which we didn't have a Plan B, but in the future we will have a Plan B. But we went to Plan B, and we went to Neighbor, then we went to the National Orphan Train Complex, then we went to the Manna House of Prayer. All places that we got to see the behind-the-scenes activity, you know, what the buildings are like, what they do there, what is interesting, and why everyone should want to go to visit that particular place. And so it will be every third Friday. We're hoping to keep it between 1 and 3:30. And at the end of the day, we have refreshments. A lot of times it's Susie's homemade sugar cookies, which is a big plus and a huge draw to be in this tour. But so we would welcome the city to take one of those Fridays, and we would love to show you Concordia and the attractions that we do take people to on tours. It doesn't mean you're going to go to the same places that we would generally take the tour groups, because that usually consists of the National Orphan Train Complex and the POW camp when it's open. But we might also go to some other towns in the Cloud County area. So it's just, you'll know about one place and the rest of it will be a surprise. But we would love to have all of the commissioners. We'd love to have anybody from the city staff come and go on the trip. Stacy came last week, and I think she had a really good time. Anyway, she's admitting to us that she had a really good time. So,
We got the leftover cookies.
and then the city got the leftover cookies. So.
I also said, when we went to the county commissioners yesterday, I think, they all decided they wanted to attend. So if you announce that they're all three going to be there, they can get away with that. So if you announce that all 5 were going to be there, it would be legitimate. So you just have to let us know. And the $10 that we collect for 10 for 10 goes to the attractions. We don't keep that. It's just a way of, I don't know, paying for that. We might go somewhere and have pie. So,
Sign me up.
yeah. Now, sign you up. What if you went someplace and you got to have 2 pieces of pie, once at the beginning and once at the end? I mean, would that be a good day, Chuck?
Most days that start and end with pie are good days.
Yeah. Also, very soon, the city will have an orphan train rider statue. Is that correct? So kudos to you for being, I think, number 21. Number 21. So I would hope you'd have your mug out for that so we could do a picture of it. And we have new postcards that feature Kansas across the front. But in each of those letters, they've been customized so that the K is a Brown Grand picture, the A is the whole wall mural, N is for the orphan train picture, POW is an S, A is one of the statues in front of the Mother House, and the S is the wheat from the Cloud County Historical Museum. And on the back, if you look at the faded, it's a picture of Broadway Plaza. We sell these, so will all the attractions. They cost $1. They take a regular stamp. But the idea of them is then to send them to somebody. Don't stack them up on your desk and never use them. Send them to somebody. So get out there and support. Okay? That's it. That's all right. Okay.
Hey, Susie,
Yeah?
I want to thank you for honoring us with your presence tonight.
Oh, yeah. You're just lucky I didn't sing. Oh, okay.
Do you need us first? Do you need us to accept your report for any reason?
No?
No question. Alrighty. Well, we just wanted to also thank you for all that you do for Concordia for us today, and we have a little special presentation for you. So, yeah.
You're not the only one with
Proclamation.
surprises.
And you will have to sing.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and read the proclamation for you right now. Whereas Susie Haver, Cloud County Tourism Director, is a driving force for the arts and humanities in north central Kansas, promoting the historical, artistic, and cultural treasures in the area, such as the Brown Grand Theater, National Urban Trade Complex, the Whole Wall Brick Mural, Cloud County Historical Society Museum, Camp Concordia World War II POW Camp, as well as being an expert tour guide for visitors from all over the world. And whereas Haver was manager of the Brown Grand Theater, also serving as the theater's public relations and marketing director, and is yet an active member of the Brown Grand Players Community Theater Group. And whereas Haver has received the 2017 Marion D. Cook Legacy Award on February 8, 2018, of which she is the seventh recipient in the award's history. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing body of the City of Concordia, Kansas, the mayors and commissioners of the City of Concordia hereby congratulate Susie Haver for her lifelong commitment to our community and her unwavering devotion to promote and market the resources of Concordia, as well as all of Cloud County. Thank you. Same signature is on the proclamation, so it's fitting the
So it's official.
Yeah, it is official.
A key to the city?
Can I borrow your key?
So I'll let you guys hold that up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you.
My folks would be so proud. Thank you.
Now let's hurry up and do the ordinance before she sings on noise.
Yes.
Mayor and Commissioners, we did have one person here for guest comments, Stacy Weiss from Leisler Oil Company representing Shortstop today. I'm sorry we didn't get her up here soon enough for guest comments, so would you guys mind backing up the agenda one
Sure,
item? And
no
having your
problem.
specific- Okay, come on up, Stacy.
Hello.
Good evening.
We would just like to propose beer sales on Sunday. A lot of our customers are asking for that. I feel like there's several people that are driving out of town to purchase their alcohol. It would also be safer for people not to be going to the bars and watching the game. They could just stay at home and have their drinks there. But the money that I think it would bring in would be substantial.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing, before you ladies leave, you all come back now for our neighborhood listening group now, okay?
Because, you know, we're not afraid to talk.
Good.
Commissioners, as a reminder, we had asked Stacy to come and visit and just mention something during guest comments about her request for the beer sales on Sunday. At the next meeting on March 7th, we do intend to have a study session on the top, and we'll invite Stacy back to walk through some of the information. We wanted to make sure that we had enough time to research all of the current legislation, proposed legislation, and have some time to walk through how it might impact Concordia should we choose to move forward. Then we would anticipate at the following meeting asking you to take action one way or another on the request. And again, we would invite Stacy back at that point in time. So
Thank you,
that's
Amy.
kind of the plan going forward.
Thank you.
That work for you? All right, thank you.
And thank you for coming tonight, Stacy.
You ready to to move forward to ordinances?
Yes, ordinances.
All right. Ordinance 2018-3133 is proposed for your approval this evening. This is the noise ordinance. This would be a brand-new ordinance for the city of Concordia. We did review it as part of a study session during our last meeting. It would propose that basically quiet hours from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. It does give some parameters for when we would ticket somebody for a noise ordinance violation. It does make that ticket into an infraction as opposed to a misdemeanor, so helps us control noise with kind of a lesser infraction and helps to not show up on people's records as much. And we feel that that's a much more appropriate way to try to help control the noise. It also does provide for sanctioned events so that we would not ticket people for being at a Choppers game out at the Bay Sports Complex or a sanctioned event at the Broadway Plaza, for example. So tonight, there have been no changes since the last study session, since we've gone over the noise ordinance. So happy to answer any questions the commissioners have, but tonight we would ask for your approval of this ordinance.
Do I have any further questions?
I would move to approve ordinance number 2018-3133.
Chuck has made the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I second.
Mark has seconded. Any further discussion? At last, my 4th of July ordinance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on
Ask me
to,
nicely, I'll stop my fireworks. I got to go, girls. I'm not going to be too late.
moving on to ordinance 2018-3134, towing fees.
Ordinance 2018-3134, this would be an amendment to an existing ordinance regarding towing of vehicles. We had Bruno and Bruce that came up last time and kind of spoke with you a little bit on how they both use this ordinance. Specifically, the amendment involves adjusting the amount that we could charge citizens for us towing their vehicle in the event of a nuisance or event of a traffic violation in which they were not able to take their vehicle off the street. We have chose to move the amount from a flat rate to the actual amount charged to us by the towing company, the actual amount charged to us by an impound lot, unless it was the city lot. In that case, we would charge a flat rate of $20 per day. We are also proposing to add an 8% administrative fee onto those actual charges for both the impoundment and the towing. There have been no changes since the last study session in which the amendments were proposed to the commissioners. I'd be happy to ask any questions, but again, we'd ask for your approval tonight of this ordinance as proposed.
I do have one question. Is it well published what the ordinance is or the parameters are for, somebody leaving a certain type of vehicle in a certain place for X amount of time?
I would have to defer to Bruno and his knowledge of the ordinance or Bruce.
Defer to Bruce on that. If we have a if it's a nuisance on private property, we have a protocol we have to go through. It takes about 45 days of paperwork to get it off that property. If it's on a street right away, then the police can get it through 4 days.
But the current ordinances that are on our city website, do they specify that time frame clearly as far as how long vehicles can be moved?
They give the timelines. Those parameters are set by the state. How we have to take a vehicle off the private property. That's a state requirement. What kind of information you have to give the owner of the property if you have a nuisance vehicle on it, an inoperable vehicle, basically what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's inoperable on private property, we have a design system that we have to go through that's regulated by the state.
So you're talking about like the pickup that doesn't run in the backyard?
Yes, if it meets the definition of an inoperable vehicle, and that can be as simple as unlicensed, then it's a nuisance and we can get it off of there, but we have to give notice. We give notice, and the way we do it is we give a courtesy letter first. Courtesy letter means nothing. If they don't respond to that, then we give them a certified letter, and then we start the process, and that's a 30-day process. And then after 30 days, we can tow it, and then when we tow it, we have to start a process with the state, find out who the last registered owner was, what the last one had. We have to do that within 10 days of towing it, and when we get that information, within 15 days of getting that information, we have to send out a letter certified to the last known registered owner. After so many days of that being done, then we can sell it. But to get it off private property is about a 30
I guess I'm just concerned with,
It's
with,
not in the actual ordinance.
okay, I'm just concerned with the citizens knowing that if they, if there's an abandoned car or a car is left in one place for so long, if people know what those rules and regulations are, that, at least,
Well, I think the courtesy letter pretty much tells them.
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
Send out, hey, your car's been there
Yeah.
too long, and our
Okay.
ordinances say we need to do something with it.
okay,
And this is just a courtesy. We're
Okay.
not even required to send
Right.
a courtesy letter out, but we do. I mean, I don't know how much, the ordinances are available,
yeah.
I think.
How long could a car be parked on a city street before it becomes?
3 days. Generally, a lot of times we get that information by complaint.
Okay.
We don't go around and make sure everybody's car moves in 3
Marking
days.
chalk on the tires.
But in any case, we do put a sticker on the car with the date and time, and we make sure it's 3 full days before we take any action.
Okay, I think that's
Okay.
reasonable.
Yep. Okay. I'm fine.
Any further discussion?
I move to approve ordinance 2018-3134.
I have a motion by Chuck. Do I have a second?
Second.
Marcus, second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Managers report.
Got several things for you this evening. First, we are pleased to announce that the Broadway Plaza did receive a Dane G. Hansen grant in the amount of $5,695, and this will help them to continue the movie and concert series this summer. So do watch for information from Jessica being posted on that. I'll be out on Friday. I'm going to start some trainings through the Municipal Training Institute. It's programs put on by the League of Kansas Municipalities. Fridays will be in Manhattan, and it will be on municipal finance. So just trying to get up to speed on everything that we need to know to make sure that the city's operating well. Great announcement. We had some city staff that was able to figure out our own YouTube channel, and so pressure's off Toby now. He's got a lot on his plate, but we're able to take the digital recordings from every commission meeting now and place those on our own YouTube channel with a link from our website. And we can do that within a couple of days of every commission meeting. So we are very excited that people, if they missed the meeting and want to know what happened, they can click on that link and find the video easily. We mentioned last time that we were working on a capital improvement plan presentation for the commissioners, and just wanted to give you an update on that. We're still waiting on a little bit more information from the state to get some of the financial information that we needed to put that plan together. We hope to have that ready for you in a study session on March 7th. So we are working on that. On February 15th, I was invited to give a presentation to the Rotary Group on GIS mapping, and so it kind of piggybacked on the work that Brian McClendon did in the presentation that he provided at the Cloud Corp luncheon on how his role with Google Earth, and so we presented on how we use that as a city staff. Everything from cemetery plots to water, sewer, streets, to zoning, to the floodplain mapping is available on our city's GIS website. Some of the layers are now public facing, thanks to Stacy was able to get those on this past week, and some of those we're going to keep internally too for our own uses. But regardless, it does help us to do our work a little bit more efficiently, save some time on some of our work. Sam and I will be attending the Lions Club on March 1st and visiting with those folks, so we've been invited to visit with them there, so pretty excited about that. The sign for Broadway Plaza acknowledging the commissioners and Larry's work and his vision for the plaza, as well as those that were on the Plaza Planning Committee, has been installed. So we thank Market Wildside Graphics for getting that up very quickly. It does look nice. We were kind of worried about the size and the placement of it, but it is on the new wall that's on the back side of the screen. You can see it when you're inside the plaza. You can also see it as you're walking down 6th Street. So it is visible from there, but it does look very nice. Very pleased with that. Finally, we've been doing some work related to our animal control ordinance. We had a couple of pet owners that had called in and needed some assistance on how to work through having puppies of the breeds that are currently specified in our ordinance that need to have some additional training. So we've worked through some internal procedural changes related to that ordinance. We're testing those out, seeing how those are working. At the same time, got some feedback from a couple of commissioners that they would like to revisit that ordinance and explore some different options to make sure that we're doing what's most appropriate for the city of Concordia. So we will be investigating that over the next few months, and we'll bring some information back to you as soon as it's available. That I'm open to any questions.
On the meetings on the YouTube, is that be available? When will that be available?
Our goal is within 24 hours, but for now we're going to say within a couple of days of the commission meetings.
Okay,
So,
because I think that's something I'd like the press to get out to the public so they're aware of it, because A lot of people say they can't find it or,
Right. It's going to be very easy. You'll go to our homepage, click on government, and then it should be right there underneath. There's a link that says click to watch the most recent commission videos. We won't keep a lengthy archive on there, but just the past 3 or 4 commission videos will be online. And then just as citizens have been able to do in the past, they can always call or come to City Hall to view past meetings if they need to.
thank you.
Is there a charge for that? I mean, for that?
For the viewing? No.
I mean, for the YouTube channel.
So it works out really well. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Managers report.
Was just concluded.
Oh, never mind. Mayor and commissioners report.
I've had a lot of good feedback from people saying they're looking forward to the talking tour that we're going to do, and they all usually throw out some things that they want to talk about when they attend, and so it's and we can go. They range from making sure that, if I'm a contractor or whatever and I go into somebody's house and do something, I want to make sure that their dogs have their rabies shots and they're licensed and all those things. And then I had someone approach me today talking about semis coming through town and blowing through red lights. They'll be a half a block away on a yellow light and gun it and go through. And so I think it's very good, and it's good positive feedback, just concerns, not complaints. So again, it's a great idea, and I'm looking forward to it.
Jeff?
A couple points. I probably want to just, in regards to working forward with our dog ordinance, probably just want to state on record that I'm not in favor of breed-specific language. Something I have a lot of good friends that work a lot with animal rescue and have done some pretty extensive research that support not necessarily the effectiveness of breed-specific language. So I know I've voiced that privately, but want to go on record now that I'm going to be a YouTube star of saying that. Also, I probably just as a statement, one of the things that when I first started visiting Concordia with my now wife, one of the things that really impressed me about this community was the acceptance and the welcoming nature of all the citizens towards individuals of all capacities. It was something I thought was really unique, that there were a couple of individuals that I'm thinking of specifically that have certain difficulties, and they were not shunned and actually were welcomed and supported and encouraged. So I really think that Concordia is a remarkable community in its way to work with and navigate around some of the difficulties that some individuals have and try to help them be very welcomed and supported in our community. I think that's a really neat thing about our town. The other comment that I have is really just to echo Mark's comments about the listening tour. I think that it's a good opportunity for folks to voice their hopefully some positive praise, but maybe their concerns. But I would also hope and try to extend the invitation that it doesn't necessarily require an event such as this. I think that we've had a very approachable group of commissioners for a period of time. I certainly look forward and welcome this opportunity, but hopefully people feel comfortable approaching us as individuals, as a group, to be able to express this. And so if they don't feel comfortable in this avenue, to please feel comfortable in whatever avenue they are, to express their thoughts and their views. We want to do the best job we can for everyone we're working with, and we can only know how to do that if folks are letting us know. So look forward to seeing folks on this tour, but also look forward to hearing from folks outside of it, however they feel comfortable approaching us.
Christie?
A few weeks ago, well, it was probably last week, I don't remember, one snowstorm runs into another for me at this point. But I had a citizen say, you guys are expecting us to have our sidewalks cleared within a few hours of when the snow stops, and yet the city doesn't do that. And I know that probably part of the reason for that is because we don't necessarily plow the snow if it's below a certain amount. Is that correct? I wonder if plow the streets? Yeah. Is there some way that, I think it might be of interest to people to know what that magic number is.
Try to shoot for 3 inches somewhere in there. And I like to say that snows are somewhat difficult because there was one of them that I plowed that I wouldn't have because there wasn't enough snow. But when it blew, it left drifts everywhere, so people couldn't get around as good, so I went ahead and done it. Usually 3 inches is a magic number. We do the downtown and everything.
Okay.
But like this last one, I mean, it was so thin, we just went out and
Well,
run
like
over it with salt.
yesterday, yeah.
And there was times before, and sometimes if I just see 1.5 inches of snow, I'll go out and try and salt it. You know, I try to look at the weather, see what it's going to do. The perfect snow for me comes at 7, 8 o'clock at night, and it's done by 1 o'clock in the morning. We can plow it before everybody gets out of bed, and it's pretty clear. But if it starts coming at 10 o'clock in the morning, everybody's out there packing it down all day long. Then my trucks don't get it off as good. So
I try to tell my wife to let me get out and shovel the drive before you start driving on it.
yeah.
I'm chipping ice instead of shoveling snow.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many different scenarios on what you got to deal with. Every time is different, but you know, if it's snowing, it starts snowing at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it ain't quit by 6 o'clock in the evening. We'll try to get out and we'll start pushing the highways to keep them clear and emergency snow routes and stuff like that, and then try to come back in later and do the rest of the town. So I mean, it all depends on what happens.
Yeah, and every situation is different.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought the magic number was 4, so there's at least one person out
Well,
there who doesn't expect you to do it until it's
It
4
used to be
inches.
5 inches in the residential areas, and we did 3 inches in the downtown, and I kind of just went across the board, so.
And,
it
you know, Chris,
helps.
I heard some
I mean-
people that commented about that also, and I think, fortunately, unfortunately, I think to me this falls kind of with the grass clippings ordinance, which is, what I think we're really trying to do is to make sure that we're being good stewards
Right.
of our area, and I don't think that we've got the police force out starting the clock and giving tickets, but we want to make sure people are taking care of their homes, they're cleaning up after themselves in a fairly reasonable time, and we're going to do that as a city. We want people to do that as individuals. We're not. It's not. I try to encourage this person that brought it to me. Let's not get caught up in the details. Let's just take care of our stuff when we have the best opportunity, and we'll do the best job we can.
And you guys do a great job, I think. I don't want you to think that,
Yeah, well, I know like our sidewalks and stuff, you know, we try to start here at City Hall first, because I like to have it done by the time they open at 8 o'clock. And then we go to the police station, the Brown Grand, and we've got some parking lots we do around and stuff like that. And then we go to, you know, like the walks in the parks and 13th Street along the highway and out by the college and all that, and the airport after that. So it's kind of how I do the sidewalks. And that takes most of a day, almost 2 days sometimes, just depends. And, you know, the new walking trail, you know, there's almost 3 miles time. You go up and down it 3 times.
Although the other thing is, I know there's some arguments on who does what, is the plaza. But when that one snow, when everyone had their sidewalk shoveled downtown, except for the plaza, I caught a little heat from that, saying, what's wrong with this picture? I mean, you're on everyone else to get their sidewalks down, the streets done, and the plaza wasn't. But I understand what happened at that time and the whole thing, but again, it's perception.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the challenge. I don't think anybody's on anyone. We just are encouraging people to take care of their
right,
things.
exactly.
Right.
And, you know, I would rather have your staff working on the roads than,
Oh, I would too.
Well,
Um,
I do
Broadway
both at
Plaza.
the same time most of the time, so, because my park department does the sidewalks
Oh,
and the street
sure.
department does the streets. So,
thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Ron.
Anything else, Chris?
Nope, I'm done.
I want to thank the chief for looking out after us old people. And those people on that little notation about the door-to-door salesman and the whole thing. Because some of us old people, we get taken. So we appreciate the department looking after us, really do on that. Also, the neighborhood listening, what I really hope is that people won't, once we go out and we talk to them and the whole thing, or we listen to them, that'll, if there is a fear about coming here and talking to us, that'll be erased. and they'll realize that we are here to listen to them, and we are here for their best interest. And if nothing else, I hope this thing achieves that. And I'll have to join Chuck and go on the record as far as my feelings on our dog ordinance. I don't think there should be any breed specific from things I've gathered, but that was for another day. But
Sure.
I'll go on record with Chuck as well. That's all I have. Staff comments.
I have next one. Annual operation and maintenance insurance statement. This is from a grant the city got back in, I believe it was '74 for the swimming pool and some park enhancements then. And I just wanted to show you some of the things that we got to kind of maintain. You know, there can't be no overhead power lines in the park. Got to keep it up clean and everything. And also that we have these signs out there posted on the buildings. So, and I know they come in and did a checkup on us a while back, and they said we never had the signs up. And I called them. I said, we got all the signs up. You just didn't see them. So, and I know Hood Park Restrooms got one, and there's like 3 in City Park. So they're all there. I keep everything pretty much what it says on there. So, and I usually sign off on this every year. I just want you guys to know about it.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Hope you do good work.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All righty, we'll move on to, there will be a study session after adjournment. And do I have a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Chuck says yes. Mark says second. All in favor?
Aye.
Right.
So after the last meeting, we talked about going ahead and taking a short break and then moving to the back table for our study sessions. Is everybody still?
I've been thinking about that. Is there going to be any need for using the overhead? Oh, and we've got one back there, so.
Not an operation.
Oh. Oh, we do? Okay.
Is that okay to work from your iPad, or do you want to stay up here for this?
No, that'd be fine.
Okay.